Hello everyone and welcome to the third and final part of the Backtracking season finale for Joan Jett. Basically for the entire season as well, and we will resume with Joan Jett and the Blackheart's ninth album, Pure and Simple. Released in 1994, it would come out through Blackheart/Warner Brothers and it would be produced by a lot of people. Anyway, this album would also see new members Kenny Aronson and Tony Ray, and I couldn't find much new information except for the fact that Joan started to produce for other bands in the early 90s, which is pretty cool. That aside, this album starts with the song Go Home, which is a pretty damn good start to a pretty damn good album. This one is, no joke, a proper return to form for Joan, and arguably it goes even beyond that. It's just got this really slick pacing to it, and Joan sounds like she's having more fun than she's had in a while. Maybe producing for other acts helped to find that spark to start giving a shit again? Who knows? Now, as people know, I am a guy that likes experimentation when it's done right, and I hate it when bands progress in that field and then just go back to the basics later on. But in Joan Jett's case, the basics have always worked for her. It isn't without slower songs or mounds either, but for Pure and Simple, they're not always in your face. Honestly, the album's got a bounce and a drive to it that I've missed for a long time in Joan's music, and I love the pacing to this one. Lyrically, it's a bit more back to basics there as well, singing about sexism, love and sex, but at least it feels more justified here. It's even produced pretty well too, with everyone actually trying to make it work this time, so really happy about that. My favourite song goes to Insecure. Pure and Simple is just pure and simple fun, and the album that Joan needed to kick her ass back into gear. Next up is Joan Jett's 10th album, Naked. Released in 2004, it would be released through Blackheart/Victor, and it was again produced by a lot of people. So, yeah, after Pure and Simple, Joan spent more time on her production work, but she and the rest of the Blackhearts put out some compilation and covers albums in the decade between. Regardless, this album starts with a title track and, well, I can basically boil this album down to the classic Joan Jett punk rock hard rock sound with a more modern polish added onto it. To be fair, this is one of her more rock-leaning albums, released in the year where rock was starting to become more modernised itself and where a lot of those old 70s/80s tropes were starting to die for a good reason. This album does feel a bit lazy to say the least, as a chunk of the songs were lifted from the compilation albums that came before it. For context, this album is an hour and 2 minutes long and has 16 songs on it. One song is titled Bad Time, which has 2 different mixes, and there's also 3 cover songs because even Joan can't shake some of her old habits, it seems. For an album that was a decade overdue and over an hour long, this feels rushed and squeezed out really carelessly. Joan Jett just sounds like she can't be bothered with most of what's going on. The instrumental and lyrical work are barely any different to the usual stuff, and the production does go well with the more rock-leaning structure, which is to say that it's really sloppy and sluggish at times. My favourite song goes to Turn It Around. Joan was in her mid-40s when this album came out, so it's fitting that this is the most mom rock album that she's put out. It's just middling, mind-numbingly dull, and boringly padded out, and I still have one more album to go. And finally, for this video, for this episode, for this season, we ended with her 12th and most recent album, Unvarnished. Released in 2013, it would come out through Blackheart Records, and it would be produced by the same crew of people as always. So, after Naked was released, Joan was super busy, helping with the Runaways movie, and even dropping a greatest hits album in 2010. Poor woman. Anyway, this album starts with the song Any Weather, and this album already feels like a different one from the start. A lot of the pacing feels a bit more measured out, more in control of itself, and has got an older sort of hard rock punk edge to its overall sound. I will admit, for an album that took almost another decade to come out, Joan and the rest of the band don't sound nearly as slow or like they're phoning it in. Hell, if Naked was a failed attempt at modernising that old Joan Jett sound, then Unvarnished is the more successful other side of that coin. To be honest, I think it's one of her best albums in a long time. Again, the first sort of rock pacing does help a lot, but damn when Joan and the others actually try, it really does pay off. It's got some solid instrumentation to it, sticking to a simple formula that works really well, and added with the crispy production, it makes up a very satisfying call loop that changes up enough to not feel lazy. There's even some fresh lyrical content about social media, celebrity lifestyle, Joan losing her mother, may she rest in peace, and bullying, so it's nice to get some new material from the woman. My favourite song goes to Hard to Grow Up. Unvarnished lives up to its name, and is a vast improvement over a lot of the band's prior work to this point. Clean production, neat pacing and presentation, and good songwriting. And you've got this album, and I recommend listening to it because it's really good. And finally, that's it. That's it for the finale of the season. That's it for the entire season. I am going to be taking time off to sort out some playlists for my videos on YouTube, and to get more bands for Season 6 because I don't quite have enough yet. I need at least 10 more, and 2 more two-parters from those, but I do have a possible finale in mind. I'll maybe get to work on the actual season in March if I really hurry. I don't really know when. Regardless, I'll see you guys possibly tonight for new PPW vs AVW. I forgot to address that I didn't stream last night because I took a nap and then it was way too late to really start the stream and I was just feeling really tired anyway, so I just went to sleep. So you'll get it tonight instead, and Friday you'll just get a normal gaming stream of me just playing whatever the hell I feel like. So, with that in mind, I want to thank you all for sticking with the show throughout 5 seasons, about 5 years-ish of just me prattling on like a moron. I'm sorry that it took so long to finish this season, but it's here, it's done, and now we can move on. And as always, thank you for watching, you're awesome, I'll see you in the next season, bye bye.